The night was dark and quiet. Suddenly, Priya felt a sharp pain. She knew the time had come. Her husband, Ravi, woke up with a start. He saw Priya's face, etched with pain and a little fear. Their hearts beat fast. This was the moment they had waited for so many months. Yet its arrival was sudden. It filled their small home with a rush of activity. Ravi, usually a calm man, felt a strange flutter in his chest. Priya, so brave, tried to breathe through the waves of pain. Her mother, who was staying with them, rushed to her side. The air itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting. Getting to the hospital was not easy. They had to find an auto rickshaw late at night. The streets were bumpy. Every bump made Priya wince in pain. Ravi held her hand tightly. He worried about the government hospital. Would it be clean? Would there be good doctors available immediately? These thoughts troubled him deeply. The auto rickshaw moved slowly through the poorly lit lanes. It felt like a very long journey. They both prayed silently. The city's public healthcare system was a constant worry for families like theirs who had little money. The government hospital was very crowded. It was also quite noisy. People were everywhere. Some were crying in pain. Others waited, their faces full of anxiety. Finding a nurse or a doctor felt like a big task. The corridors were long and filled with the sounds of trolleys and anxious voices. It was not a calm place for a woman in labour. Priya leaned on Ravi for support. Every minute felt like an hour. They waited and waited for someone to attend to them. The system felt so impersonal, so vast, especially when one was in urgent need. Finally, a kind nurse helped them. Priya was taken to the labour room. Ravi waited outside. He walked up and down the corridor. His heart was full of prayers for Priya and their baby. He felt so helpless. He wished he could take away her pain. Then he heard it, the strong, clear cry of a newborn baby. A nurse came out smiling. "It is a healthy baby boy," she announced. Tears of joy streamed down Ravi's face. A wave of relief, so strong and pure, washed over him. Their son, Vivek, had arrived safely into the world. Ravi's heart was bursting with happiness. He was a father now. The first thing he did was rush to the nearby sweet shop. He bought many boxes of fresh laddus and barfis. He went around their small neighbourhood, knocking on every door. He shared the sweets and the wonderful news with everyone. "A son is born to us," he announced with great pride. His colleagues at the small workshop where he worked also rejoiced with him. Vivek's arrival had brought so much light into their lives. It was a pure, simple joy, the joy of new life. Bringing little Vivek home was a special moment. Their small two-room house felt different, brighter. Ravi's mother had decorated a small corner with colourful ribbons and a simple cradle for the baby. Vivek looked so tiny, so delicate. Priya and Ravi felt a deep sense of responsibility. They knew life would change. Grandparents, aunts and uncles came to visit. They blessed the baby and offered much-needed advice to the new parents. The house was filled with chatter, laughter and the sweet scent of baby powder. Vivek was the centre of their world now. The first few months were very challenging. Sleepless nights became a part of their routine. Vivek would cry and they would try everything to soothe him. Priya had to stop her small tailoring work. She used to earn a little money from it, which helped the family. Now all her time was for Vivek. The expenses for the baby, his clothes, milk and doctor visits started to add up. Ravi worked even harder at his job. He worried about providing for his family. But then Vivek would smile and all their tiredness would melt away. Vivek grew quickly. Every little thing he did was a big event for them. His first smile made their hearts leap with joy. When he first said Ma and then Pa, Priya and Ravi felt like they were on top of the world. They eagerly watched him try to crawl. And then, one day, he took his first wobbly steps. He walked towards them, his tiny hands outstretched. These were the simple joys. These moments made all their struggles seem small. They were creating beautiful memories day by day with their precious son. Vivek's childhood unfolded in a bustling, crowded part of the city. Their lane was his playground. He did not have many toys, but he had many friends. They played cricket with a broken bat and a soft ball. They played marbles on the dusty ground. Hide and seek was a favourite game in the evenings. Their homes were small, but their hearts were big. There was always laughter and the friendly calls of vendors. Vivek learned to share his few belongings. He learned to make friends easily. He found joy in the simple things life offered in their mohalla. As Vivek grew a little older, Ravi and Priya started to feel the pressures of society. People would often compare children. Whose child is smarter? Who is learning to read faster? They would ask. Ravi and Priya dreamt of a good education for Vivek. They believed it was the only way for him to have a better future. This meant they had to save every paisa. They cut down on their own needs. They wanted to send Vivek to a decent school. The desire for their child to succeed was a silent, constant thought in their minds. Festivals brought much joy and colour into their lives. During Diwali, their small house would be lit with diyas. Vivek loved the sweets. Holi was a day of fun with colours. Raksha Bandhan taught him about the bond with his cousins. His grandparents would tell him stories from the Ramayana and Mahabharata. He learned about his culture and traditions through these celebrations. Family gatherings were important. They taught him about respecting elders and the strength of family bonds. These values became a part of him, shaping his young mind. Priya was the quiet strength of their family. She managed the home with very little money. She was always patient with Vivek. She always had a kind word for Ravi when he came home tired from work. Ravi, in turn, worked very hard. He always tried to earn a little more for their comfort. Their partnership was built on love and understanding. They worried about paying bills. They worried when Vivek fell sick, but they also found great happiness in sharing meals, in Vivek's innocent questions, and in just being together as a family. The big day finally came. It was Vivek's first day of school. Preparations had been going on for weeks. His new school uniform was neatly ironed. It was a little big, so it would last longer. His new school bag was packed with colourful books and a shiny pencil box. A mix of excitement and nervousness filled their small home. Priya checked everything again and again. Ravi tried to look brave and calm, but he felt a little emotional too. Vivek himself felt a strange mix of excitement and fear about this new adventure. As they reached the school, Vivek felt a knot in his tiny stomach. The school building looked very big and a bit scary. He held Priya's hand very tightly. There were so many new children, all talking and laughing. The teachers looked serious. He did not know anyone there. The thought of being left alone in this new place made him want to cry. He looked up at his parents. His eyes silently asked them not to leave him. The world suddenly felt very large and unfamiliar to him. For Ravi and Priya, it was a very emotional moment. They were so proud to see their son in his school uniform. He looked so smart. They had so many hopes for his future. This was the first step. But they also felt a little sad. Their little boy was growing up so fast. It was hard to let him go, even for a few hours. They smiled and encouraged him. "You will make new friends," Priya said softly. "You will learn so many new things," Ravi added, patting his head gently. The teacher came forward with a kind smile. She gently took Vivek's hand. Vivek looked back at his parents one last time. Then he slowly walked into the classroom. Ravi and Priya stood near the gate for a long time. They watched the classroom door. A new chapter was beginning in Vivek's life. It was a chapter of learning, friendship, and growth. They turned and walked home, their hearts full of prayers and hope for Vivek's bright future. They knew he would make them proud.